Hi, Jessica Dumas, Prime Image Life Coaching and Indigenous Insight Seminars. I wanted to upload a video based on the Brandon Urban Aboriginal Peoples Council training session that was done today. And I wanted to thank you again. And I can't say thank you enough because this work is really meaningful to me. And when I share with you, I share with an open heart. And I thank you for doing that with me today. And so I know that the day seems really rushed. There are a few major topics that I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to talk about. And the idea is to get the conversation started. And what I want to share now is I want to remind you that the timeline that we talked about today was hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's impossible to learn and to talk about everything in one day. I encourage you to reach out and take more training whenever possible. There are one-day training workshops like mine. There are workshops that are up to 2 weeks in training. There are university courses that you can take. So my hope is that I've given you enough of a base that has sparked some curiosity and is going to be the beginning of your journey of learning about the history of Canadian Indigenous people. And you know what, I say history, but very, very well in what was highlighted today, the current issues of Indigenous people that we are dealing with. And so lots of topics that we covered today. So what can you do now that we've had this main introduction to many topics that hopefully we're going home and talking to our families and our friends about now? So things that we can do is exactly that. Share the information that you know. Get involved in an area of the community that is meaningful to you, whether that is water or environment, whether that is children, women, tradition, culture, art. There's so much that you can do. What is meaningful to you? I encourage you to take a moment and think about what is most meaningful to you and your family and how you contribute in your community. And that's what I ask you to do. The TRC, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, calls to action. If you haven't seen that document, I can't remember the number of pages. I have it tucked away right there. It's a document. It's printable. Don't be afraid to hit print on your printer. It's 20 pages or something like that. But there are calls to action. Read them. There's 92 calls to action. Senator Marie Sinclair says pick one. That's all you have to do to get started in your reconciliation journey. The other thing is the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Again, a very accessible document. Read it. Go through it. Circle it. Don't be afraid to write your notes in there. What's most meaningful to you? What can you do with sharing that information? I'm all over social media. I have videos like this often. You can find me on YouTube. You have the link now. In my coaching business, I often share strength and positive in relationships and in a lot of different areas. Indigenous Insight Seminars. You can find me on Facebook under that, Indigenous Insight Seminars, Jessica Dumas. You can also find me under Jessica Dumas Life Coach. So I've got 2 different pages on Facebook. The Indigenous Insight Seminars page on Facebook is specifically for me to share Indigenous stories and activities. So if you follow that page, I share things on there often, and the purpose is so that someone can come if they want to know, well, what's going on in the Aboriginal community, the Indigenous community. I try to be as positive as possible with sharing those. The other thing that I have coming up is I'm interviewing some of my really cool, successful Indigenous friends. So people who are either doing just great things that needed to be highlighted: arts, music, business. I'm so excited. I'm doing that every Friday. My first one is Friday, the 25th or 24th. You can also find me on Instagram. If you are on Instagram, my website is jessicadumas.com. Most of my coaching material that I provide is on there. I have a 6-month online life coaching program and Indigenous Insights blogs. And you can find me on LinkedIn. Excuse me. So again, Miigwetch, thank you very much for the opportunity to spend today with you. Or I guess when you watch this, it might not be the same day. Connect with me on my Facebook accounts and my YouTube. And what else? What else can I share with you? Oh, yeah, so a couple other things. So 2 things before I let you go that you can do to contribute to reconciliation, to supporting the Indigenous community is, first of all, pay attention. Pay attention not only to those around you, pay attention to what's going on in the news. What's going on that's affecting Indigenous people in your community. And so that's one thing. And the second thing is, how are Indigenous community members fitting into your community? What can you do to help policies fit, help rules fit, the United Nations Declaration and the calls to action? Now that you're aware of these issues, it's a big responsibility. It's a big responsibility for me to continue to do the work that I do. So thank you very much. I hope I didn't talk too long. And I hope to see you on my Facebook pages and my YouTube channel. And feel free to send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you and take care.